Shalawam. I'm your brother Yahawah from the branch of GMS, South Carolina Midlands. Shabbat Shalawam. And before I start off, all praise, honor, and glory belongs to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, HaQadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And Shalawam to you, hopeful elect, scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. To you, I say Shalawam. For the time is at hand. All right, all these biblical prophecies unfolding right before our very eyes. And main one I want to speak on in this lesson is the prophecy of the MOTB. All right, we know Yahawah is about to bring the prophecy of the mandatory implementation of the RFID micro chip by the so-called white man Esau Edom in the planet Earth. The Lord is about to put on his devil's spirit to push it. All right, because just dealing with the whole quote-unquote king, all right, King Charles, I believe the third, well, I just let the video speak, man. All the naysayers, all the non-believers, okay, is gonna have to be faced with what the prophets of Yahawah have been speaking about for many years and many decades in the case of our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, man. All right, the time is at hand. All right, I'm going to let this play. This is from the elder Manat Zakba's channel, the elder here in South Carolina. All right, Myrtle Beach. Subscribe to his channel, be edified. GMS South Carolina 08.
Be taking all the tech giants, all the bank CEOs with him. All of these major CEO companies flew with President Trump to meet with Xi Jinping. So there are two major breaking stories today. If you're not caught up, I'm going to catch you up. First, let's start with international breaking news. In the United Kingdom, King Charles announced today that they are going to go full force with the digital ID infrastructure, which is going to take over the banking system along with your physical identity, your physical digital structure.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
Basically, Starmer made it very clear at the beginning of this year that if you do not comply with this digital ID infrastructure that's going to be implemented, which was now validated by King Charles, that you are going to have a hard time getting socially verified. You understand? Socially verified, that if you do not verify yourself or comply with the system, you cannot participate in the society. Understand that part. President Trump did not travel to China alone. He took all the tech mongols, the tech giants, the big companies, banking infrastructure CEOs, BlackRock, all the creatures, the swamp of the deep state, like the people that we were supposed to drain. He took those vultures, those creatures are now leached on to the president, flew with him to China to meet with Xi Jinping. The same day that King Charles announces that digital ID will be going live soon. What is the one thing that China has mastered in the past century? If you have been following the meetings in Davos, you are going to understand that Klaus Schwab himself said every single nation needs to look to China when it comes to digital surveillance and one governing system transition into the new world order. Our president, who was supposed to drain the swamp, has taken the swamp with him to China to negotiate and broker deals on behalf of the American people. And these deals, I tell you, my friend, are going to involve the digital infrastructure surveillance system. You can take that to the bank.
All praise. So yeah, go check out the elders video. I already did so. Edifying lesson as always. And yeah, this is exactly what we've been warning about, man, through the spirit, man. Okay, these devils rolling out with this whole beast system, this digital technocracy that's set up all around you. All right, hence the talks of all the data centers, hence the talks of AI, you know, the advancements, with AI, surveillance is all tied to this beast system that's eventually going to be implemented, all right, with a mark, okay, that's going to track and trace you, allow you to buy and sell through that mark, okay? This is what we've been speaking about through the Spirit, man. All right, so this is Revelation 22:10. It says, and look at the title, the final message. It says, and he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. Okay, and what time? The end times. All right, these prophecies being fulfilled, man. All right, we warned you that this devil, he's bringing about chaos so he can bring order. Hence why he's tanking his dollar. Okay, the dollar is collapsing, and he's about to roll in the Great Reset and bring in this digital dollar, CBDC, central bank digital currencies. Hence the whole shift, okay, towards a digital system, man. Digital IDs, digital currency, okay, one world government. We warned you about how this devil is coming via prophecy, man. Okay. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi has warned us through the Spirit, okay, by setting up his prophets, man. Okay, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and 17. We bring this out all the time. It says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. And that's what we've been doing, man. All right, stand upon our watch, the watchtower, seeing the danger, seeing the enemy, warning the nation of Israel to repent, turn back to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, man. All right, warning you about the MOTB, warning you not to take the mark, telling you what it really is, the RFID microchip, and telling you not to take it, and also letting you know the consequences if you take it. Okay, Revelation 14:9 and 10, you will be destroyed by fire and brimstone, man. Nuclear destruction, nuclear annihilation, man. The second death. Okay, now for those who would take heed into that warning, we know it's only for the elect, man. All right, the elect, would, ultimately have faith, believe our reports and take action, man. All right, let me get this precept real quick. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, let us therefore fear. And the elect have that, healthy fear of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, which comes with access to wisdom, to this truth. Okay, the 2/3, they don't have that fear. Hence, they don't have the truth. Okay, they don't believe in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. They don't understand the judgments of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. So therefore, they operate differently. Their conduct or their anastrophe is different from the elect, man. The elect have repented, all right, and now serve Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi with fear and trembling, man. Okay, their actions have been reproved, and they continue to, offend less before Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. And while the 2/3, they carry on as if the Heavenly Father is not angry, with the wicked every day. All right, as if the Lord won't smoke them, man. All right, as if the Lord ain't about to smoke them, literally. Okay, it says, let us, so this is speaking to the elect, let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, and that's the kingdom of heaven. All right, any of you should seem to come short of. It says, for unto us was the gospel preached. This good news, this truth. All right, we all heard the warnings from the elder apostles, elder bishops, all right, the prophets of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. We all heard the good news, and the good news is only for Israel. Okay, and it says, as well as unto them, all right, those that disregard the truth or don't fear and don't believe. It says, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. Okay, and that's ultimately because they haven't been given that gift. But through that through that unfaithfulness, all right, and them not believing, what follows, man? Okay, if you don't trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, and you don't keep his commandments to the best of your ability, you don't believe in these prophecies, let's read it. I'm gonna start from the top, matter of fact. 2nd Esdras 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. And that's speaking to the prophets. Okay, the prophets go out there and prophesy, which means to say before, let you know what's going to happen before it happens. And that warning is from Yahawah by Shemel Shai, as we read in Ezekiel 3:17. And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. So, pertaining to the incredulity of our people, the unbelief of our people. Okay, we're not going to let that trouble us. We're not going to let that deter us in our faith, our belief in Yahawah by Shemel Shai and the word of the Lord. All right, because they don't believe. And that lines up and that correlates with Romans. Okay. Romans chapter 3. Right? Romans 3:3. It says, for what if some did not believe, meaning they lack faith? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? Is that going to stop prophecy? Yahawah forbid. Yea, let the Most High, Yahawah by Shemel Shai, be true, but every man a liar. So we're going to trust in the word of the Lord. We're not going to trust what these niggas say. They come up against this truth. They try to downplay the truth. They try to downplay Yahawah by Shemel Shai. We're not trusting them. Okay, we're trusting in the word of the Lord, man. All right, as it is written, that thou mayest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when thou art judged, man. And those that's going to be justified in their sayings is the elect, speaking the 100% truth, giving the warning, prophesying. Okay, and those that's not going to be justified and ultimately be destroyed because of their unbelief, because they're mocking, they're scoffing, gainsaying against the truth. They're going to be destroyed, man. They're going to be judged, man. Okay? Because every idle word, St. Matthew 12:36, it says, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, even if you're an unbeliever, speaking against the truth, right? They shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. So they ain't no microchip. It's June, right? All the Israelites that don't believe the RFID micro C-hip is the mark of the beast, saying it's sin or it's an embargo or sleeping with white women or whatever they make up in their mind or their leaders lead them astray to believe. You have to give account thereof, man. All right, coming up against Great Millstone about saying what it truly is and linking it, to buying and selling to the prophecy, all right, to the T, all right. All the words you spoke against, the true men of the Lord and the prophets, all right, and the believers, you're going to have to give account thereof, man. Okay. Calling Great Millstone grapists for simply going into the law of the Lord, just breaking it down, just letting you know and reading the law of the Lord and letting you know how the customs was back then and how the Lord got for us to handle certain situations through the Spirit. All right, through his law, his statutes and commandments that they claim to keep. Calling us grapists. You have to give account thereof, man. Okay? It says, for by thy words thou shalt be justified, and that's the elect speaking 100% truth. Okay? And by thy words thou shalt be condemned, and those are the non-believers, the incredulity, the gainsayers, the mockers, the scoffers. All right? Gonna be condemned, man. And we in the times to where we about to see it, man. Okay, they're gonna have to go through the same hour of temptation that we gotta go through, and they're gonna fail the test miserably, man. All right. It says 2nd Esdras 15:3, fear not the imaginations against thee, and let not the incredulity, unbelief of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Why? For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So just because you don't believe, all right, you're going to be deleted. All right. You ain't operating in the spirit and the power of Yahawashi. You don't deny Esau, his beast system, his new world order, and you don't deny his mark, the RFID microchip. You going to be destroyed. Okay? And it's a simple research, all right? But, as the Lord's ways of playing to the holy is a stumbling block into the wicked. It's not for everybody to get. It's only for the elect to get. Now, I looked it up in chat. Just a question. Does the RFID microchip technology align with the prophecy in Revelation 13, 16, 17, the mark of the beast? Just seeing what chat got to say, It says that's a serious question. And people have been trying to connect the new technology to the book of Revelation 13, 16, 17 for a long time. Long before the RFID microchip or CHIPs existed. Okay? And that's because it's prophecy, future prophecy. All right? So these things been forewarned and spoken about. And through the Spirit in today's time, the prophets being reincarnation. 1 Corinthians 14 and 32, the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. Those prophets are back here today to give you a plain explanation on these things that men and women, specifically of the elect, would inquire about pertaining unto prophecy. They'll make it plain upon tables. 1 Corinthians 14:32, and the spirits of the prophets are subjects unto the prophets. Okay, so what's so important about the prophets, right? As pertains into prophecy or the word of the Lord. Amos 3 and 7, surely the Lord God, Yahawah, Bahasham will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets, man. So the Lord will let those prophets know through the Spirit, give them understanding through the Spirit on what he's about to do before he do it. And those prophets will do what? Give warning. Give warning, man. All right, just like in the days of old, how the Lord spake to our people, our forefathers, the Lord speaking to us now through his prophets, starting with our teachers, our elders, elder apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone, man. Whether you can receive that or not, only the elect will receive it. It says, Hebrews 1 and 1, the Most High, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets. So that's the mouthpiece of the Lord. And that's how the Lord speaks today. And the Lord don't wait until after the prophecy hit and then send the prophets out there and to prophesy. No, prophesy means to say before. He sends the prophets well before the manner, man. Okay? It's just one thing about our people. The majority of them is unbelieving, and they mock and they scoff at the prophets, man. Okay? They disregard the warning of Yahawashi. Hence, they get destroyed. They get caught up in the prophecies and get taken by the evils, man. Bad times. 2 Corinthians 36 and 15. And the Lord Yahawah, power of their fathers, sent to them by his messengers, rising up be times. And those messengers are the prophets. Okay, because the prophets are also known as angels, which means messengers of the Most High. Okay, we come with a message from on high. And it says, and sending because he had compassion on his people, and that's Israel, and on his dwelling place. So the Lord ain't an unjust power, He got compassion, he loves his people. All right, but hey, tough love got to get shown to the 2/3, man. All right, hey, the elect, they took the warning serious. Okay, it says, but they mocked the messengers of the Most High, 2/3. And despise his words and misuse his prophets. Yeah, we're supposed to be out there for correction, reproof, rebuke, exhortation. If you had to inquire of Yahawashi, you had any questions, the prophecy got answers, man, through the Spirit. Okay, but they misuse us. They take us for a joke. They take us for entertainment. All right. A lot of times they want to fight the prophets, man. Okay, and ultimately they go back to the prophet killers. Back then, they're back here today, man. All right, so they misused us, man. You see what Drewski and what's that nigga name on Wild 'N Out, Emmanuel Hudson, making skits and parodies, misusing the prophets until the wrath of the Lord Yahawah Bahasham arose against his people till there was no remedy. And this is the point we're at today. We're at the point to where the wrath, the anger, the fury of Yahawah is getting to a point against you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you hard-headed, stiff-necked niggas, man. You at a point to where it's about to be no return for the anger of the Lord. And those that's of the elect, just like Noah was on the ark, is going to be safe and protected. Noah, his family, and those animals. Everything else got the judgment of Yahawashi. Everyone else. And that's what it's about to be for 2/3 majority of our people out here, man. Okay? And the heathen and the Edomites. Okay? Everybody else about to catch it. Okay? But the warning is for you Israelites, man. Okay? Even chat will tell you. All right, so getting back into it, asking chat, does the RFID micro C-HIP technology align with the prophecy in Revelation 13, 16, 17, Mark of the Beast? So it says, what Revelation 13, 16, 17 actually says. The passage describes a mark, the Greek word charagma, okay, a physical incision, all right, cutting underneath the flesh, all right, a physical mark, the RFID micro C-HIP, placed on the right hand or forehead that no one can buy or sell without it. And that's the important context that these Israelite camps need to link with the prophecy. You can't buy or sell with sleeping with a white woman, man. Okay? That's not going to be the case. Yeah, I slept with a white woman today. All right, let me get a loaf of bread. That's not going to be the case. Dumb niggas, man. All right? It's going to be the technology that you see here today, the infrastructure you see here today, correlating with this prophecy, man. And this technology already been here for some time, but now you're seeing the infrastructure. It's pretty much, it's in place, man. Okay? And it's about to be mandated. Okay? King Charles III. They rolling with the digital infrastructure, man. The UK, United Kingdom, it ain't gonna stop there. It's already in China. Okay? It's coming over here to the States. And it's gonna be all over, because he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads. Everybody. It says, the mark placed upon the right hand or forehead that no man could buy or sell without it. It ties to allegiance to the beast. And the beast, in this case, is the fourth beast, is the rise Roman Empire, the Edomites, the so-called white man, starting with the wicked elite. Okay? You're going to have America, Babylon the Great. All right? These NATO and EU nations, these Edomite nations, implementing this charagma throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay? The wicked elite wants to implement this throughout the four corners of the earth, man. Okay? And the image of the beast, this new world order beast system set up all around you. Okay? This is Rome 2.0, if you can receive that or not, man. Okay? And the charagma obviously is the micro C-HIP. It says it's tied to the allegiance of the beast, which is generally understood depending on the interpretation as a political or spiritual power opposed to the Most High. Yeah, these devils are opposed to Yahawashi. It says what micro C-HIPs are. Radio frequency identification C-HIPs are small devices used for access control, like key cards, identification, pets, inventory, etc. Optional human implants, very limited use today. All right, and you got a lot of people that, such as in Sweden, even over here in the States, a lot of people that's already walking around with C-HIPs in them. Okay. It says they do not inherently control buying and selling systems globally, nor do they force allegiance to any belief system. Not yet. Okay. It says there are three main viewpoints people take: literal tech / technological interpretation. Some believe future tech possibly includes CHIPs, digital IDs, or biometric systems could become the mark. If it becomes mandatory worldwide, that's what it's gonna be. It's required to participate in the economy. That's what it's gonna be. That's exactly what the prophecy is saying. It represents loyalty to the system opposed to the Most High. Yep. Because another definition of that word charagma, those that, is a badge of the followers, of the Antichrist. In this case, which there's many anti-Hamashiachs out there pose, oppositions to Yahawashi, Yahawah. But in this case, Esau Edom. Okay, you take that charagma. That's a badge that you follow after Esau Edom, and Esau Edom is your power and your God and your master. Okay, so we tell you not to take it, man. Okay, so I'm just get to the bottom line. It says RFID micro CHIPs by themselves do not match the full description of the mark of the beast. They could raise ethical and prophetic questions if they were ever mandatory. That's what it's going to be. Globally enforced. That's what it's going to be. Tied to worship or loyalty. Yeah, because you're not going to be able to function in society without it. Okay. And the only ones who's going to be spared from taking that charagma through the Spirit of the Lord is the elect. Revelation 3:10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So if you don't got Yahawah Yahawashi and the Lord gonna got his spirit on you not to take that charagma, all right, and that's gonna be through the Lord finding you worthy not to take it, and so that you can be delivered, all right, through the long suffering that you had to go through, the faith that you shown through your works. Even though you were ridiculed, mocked, hated, persecuted, okay? If the Lord don't keep you, you're not going to make it, man. All right? But to you elect, all right, this is what we have faith in, is that when this devil rolls this thing out and make it mandatory around America, around the four corners of the earth, all right, the Lord is going to have it and make a way to where if we can't buy or sell, the Lord going to allow us to eat. The Lord going to allow us to drink. The Lord going to allow us to have shelter. The Lord going to allow us to be protected in these times, man. Okay, because it's already written. And that's why wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of that times and strength of salvation. Okay, this is what's going to get you through. All right, the fear of the Lord is his treasure, man. And that's you elect. Okay, because we're going to lean on scriptures like this. Isaiah 65:13. We're going to believe in the words that the Lord told us, man. And the Lord going to make good on it. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahawah, Bahasham, behold, my servants shall eat. Now, this is going to be during time of not being able to buy or sell. That's how you get your food today. You got to go out and get groceries. Or you go out to eat. You got to buy or sell. With the money, the monetary system that we have now. Okay, credit cards, debit cards. Some people still use cash today. A lot of people use tap to pay, and that's gradualism into what they truly want to do is to put the charagma in you. So if you don't take that mark, you're not gonna be able to buy or sell. You ain't gonna be able to eat or drink. Okay, so you're gonna have to lean on scriptures like this. All right, we walk by faith and not by sight. It says, therefore saith the Lord power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. And that's 2/3. The ones that trust in Egypt run down to Egypt for help. You had a example of that during the 2020, where the global pandemic. Okay, how people ran down to Egypt, rolled up their sleeves, and a lot of people got deleted and dropping and getting deleted. Because they took the serpent's poison, man. Okay, and we have leaders through the spirit and the power of Yahawah, the elder apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone, that told us what to do through the spirit, and it was wise counsel from on high, and we didn't take the corruption, no matter whether we had to lose a job, no matter whether we had to break off certain relationships because you ain't get the jab and they got the jab, okay? Well, that's us, keeping the Lord's patience, man, long suffering, man, okay? But we ultimately trusted in the Lord and not in Egypt, man. We ain't run down to Egypt for help. All right? Isaiah 30:2. Woe to the rebellious. Woe means destruction. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahawah, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with their covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. You see? So they trusted in, the system that the Edomite, so-called white man, set up. Okay, they trusted in the government. Okay, they're still voting, running to the polls, and still believing in, these presidents and these senators and all these different things, man. Okay, and they think that that's what's gonna keep them ultimately grounded and protected. All right, but that's gonna be to their shame. Okay, that's ultimately gonna be a failed hope. Okay. Because Yahawah is the elect's covering, man. All right? This is what we're going to trust. This is what we're going to stay in and be protected in under Yahawah. Okay? They ain't asked the Lord, and the Lord ain't counseled them to go down to the white man for help. Okay? And the 2020 was a great example of that. It says that walk to go down into Egypt, in this case America, spiritual Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Okay? That's because our people are comfortable here. They still got a functioning society, so to speak. They still got their money, still got their job, their 9 to 5. Okay? They still got their degrees. Okay? Everything's still business as usual. They still got some form of protection through the police, and all that, different things of that nature. Still can go to their grocery stores and, get their food. Still go out to eat, party, and mirth and all that. Okay? They trust in Egypt. All right? But Yahawah about to break all this up, man. Destroy it all. And we can see it. It's gradually happening. All right? But the Lord is about to completely derail Babylon the Great, spiritual Egypt 2.0, man. Okay? Ain't gonna be all the partying and the mirth. The food shelves are gonna be empty. The government ain't gonna be able to save you from these hardships, these hard times. In fact, they're gonna be implementing the micro C-HIP, man. Okay? New system. All right? And if you don't comply, Esau, the Lord gonna have it on this devil's spirit to go upside your head, man. Okay? It says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame. And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion. Because ultimately, this is a broken, failed system. All right? Society system. Okay? It's being broken down in this transition of the digital age or technology, rolling out the MOTB. It's ultimately going to be destroyed and wasted away. Okay? By the wrath of Yahawah. So our people are going to be ashamed, man. Okay? For not taking the time that they got, the leisure time that they got to take heed to the warning of Yahawah via his prophets, getting in line, repenting. Okay? They're going to be ashamed, man. Because there ain't nothing Babylon can do. This place will not be healed, man. It's done. It's over. Ain't no bounce back. Okay? They roll out this MOTB, that's it. Because what surely follows is great destruction, man. Okay? And we're about to see it, man. Alright? Call out Yahawah because prophecy is moving forward. It's progressing, man. To everything, there's a time. There's a season to every purpose under the heaven. It's Babylon the Great's time is up, man. Ecclesiastes 3:1, to everything there is a season and a time. To every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. And the Lord placed these doubles, Esau, in power and allowed them to establish America, Babylon the Great, build up, okay? And the Lord about to uproot these niggas, man, okay? About to take these devils right out of power, man, because they not the rightful rulers. It says a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. And these devils been building up America, Babylon the Great for long enough. They're building up their digital beast system long enough, and now they about to move forward with it so the Lord can throw it down. The scriptures say they shall build, but the Lord will throw down. Malachi 1 and 4. Okay? A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. And it's about to be a lot of weeping and mourning out here. Okay? Because all the laughter and the dancing, the mirth is gone. Okay? Hard times, evils and only evils. Ezekiel, the 7th chapter, is coming to this place, man. It says a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away. All right, and we're living in a time for you hopeful members of the elect. You know, they that lose their life shall save it, and those that try to save their life shall lose it. Okay, so as it pertains into, you know, your hopes, your desires, you know, your cares, okay, you know, we got to put that towards Yahawashi, and that comes with ultimately losing your life. You know, you lose a lot of things, all right, but ultimately you might have to quite literally, lose your life, be a living sacrifice, as it reads in Romans the 12th chapter, okay, so that you can gain it. You know, you get delivered, all right, you be a part of the elect, to receive your crown, okay, be joint heirs, rulers with Yahawashi in the world to come, and that's eternal, that's immortality, that's forever, okay. And we're living in a time to where all those that try to save their life, you know, and they don't want to give it up, you know, because they got a good job or they got, you know, money, they got some type of status, whatever, you know, they about to lose it, okay, and they ain't even gonna, you know, be seen on the chariot, receive salvation on the back end, man, okay, they're gonna lose their life for nothing, okay, for a failed system that's about to be totally annihilated and destroyed. So a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, okay. And the Lord said the elect love not their lives unto the death. Okay, so it's gonna be easy to give this life up, man. It's easy. Okay. And not to say that being a sacrifice is an easy thing to do. All right, but if the Lord's spirit on you and the Lord is with you, it's an easy thing for the elect. All right. Ecclesiastes 3 and 7, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. And now's the time to speak. Okay, right now we're in a time to where the Lord is allowing us to prophesy before he brings a famine of the word. Amos 8 and 11 and 12. Because at that time, ain't gonna be no more speaking. There'll be no more warning from Yahawashi. Okay? A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. And we ain't in no time of peace, man. We're in the time of war. The war drums beating. Because it all lines up to the future destruction of Babylon the Great. All right? The rolling out of this MOTB. Okay? The end of the Edomite Empire. Okay? So I'm going to read it. Revelation 14, 9 and 10. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, all right, this revised Roman Empire, these Edomites, these devils, this Western hegemony, the America, Babylon the Great, these NATO EU nations, all right, and his image, this new world order beast system that he's setting up all around you, man. Going digital, the digital infrastructure, AI, okay, Palantir, okay, surveillance. You know, if you conform to this image, this new world order system, okay, one world currency that's about to be put on his mark, okay, you're going to be destroyed. It says, and receive his charagma in his forehead or in his hand, all right, That's the RFID micro C-hip technology, okay, which ties into the image, okay. It reads the future judgment, verse 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. That's nuclear destruction. And shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. All right. And we're going to see front row seats. It's hope for members of the elect. Those that conform getting destroyed. Esau kingdom being destroyed. Okay. Right along with Yahawashi, the angels, man. We're gonna be seeing these wicked 2/3, these heathens, and these Edomites getting destroyed, man. Okay. Will you have survivors? Of course. We're going to have slaves in the kingdom. All right? You're going to have wicked elite run into their bunkers or the space stations, wherever they may be. And we're going to come gather, man. The fishers turn hunters, Jeremiah 16 and 16. All right? But, hey, the time is at hand, man. I'm going to read that again. I'm going to close it out. Revelation 22. Thought I had it in the blue letter. Revelation 22 and 10. It says, and he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. So these prophecies about to hit, man. All right, for you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans out there, repent. Okay? These devils ain't going digital for no reason, man. Okay? Rome 2.0 ain't going digital for no reason, man. He about to implement that charagma, man. It says, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. That's your 2/3. Continue to do what you do. All right? Continue to be serial transgressors, repeated offenders against Yahawah and his word and his commandments, man. Go ahead. Okay? It says, and he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. So for you elect, continue to be set apart from them niggas. Okay? Continue to monitor your conduct, your anastrophe. Continue to rehearse the righteous acts of Judges 5 and 11, the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahawashi to the best of your ability. Remain faithful unto Yahawashi through your works, through your actions, all right? And even unto the death, man. So that you receive your reward, your crown of life that Yahawashi promised us, man. Okay? It says, and behold, and that's Revelation 2 and 10. It says, and behold, red letter Yahawashi, Revelation 22 and 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. And that's what all these signs and these prophecies is telling us as well. Yahawashi is about to return. Okay? The Heavenly Father is about to give Yahawashi the green light. War is not picking up for no reason. These devils ain't speaking about digital infrastructure for no reason. Okay? The love of many waxing cold is not ramping up for no reason. Okay? All these people deleting one another, family members. I seen a report where a man moved into a house next to his brother. He took to the extent that he traveled 1,000 miles to get there. Okay? To secretly move in next to his brother, to delete him, and burn the house down and delete himself. We in the end. Okay? And Yahawashi is on his way. Alright? Salvation is nearer than when we will finish off with that. It says, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. So, yeah, you hope for members of the elect, continue to do the work of the Lord. Continue to serve the Lord, man. All right. Romans 13 and 11. And it reads, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. All right, so salvation knocking at the door. All right, the time is at hand. This devil about to implement the charagma, will surely follow his destruction, and in the midst of that, the righteous scarcely being saved, delivered on a chariot of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Lord, will us edify to the elect. With that I say Shalawam. Lord, will you had a Yapah, Shabbath. With that I say Shalawam. Shalawam to the hopeful elect.